An interesting final day of the legislative session this week. I'm Owen Canfield with the Oklahoman opinion page, joined as I am every week by Mike McNutt, our chief capital correspondent. Mike, interesting news yesterday. Governor Fallin would like to see the state take some federal money to help build an insurance exchange, an online site where people can go find insurance. She really wants this done. Yesterday, the head of the Senate said, no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to sign off on that. And he did so without telling her first, which is sort of a protocol broach there. Tell us about that and how surprising that was yesterday at the Capitol.
Well, it was a surprise, no question about it. As you mentioned, the governor had been, once this $54 million federal grant, she said she accepted it. Governor Henry applied for it in November. Right. And it's supposed to set up these exchanges, which, as you mentioned, is like a website, online directory where people could go shop for insurance. And the state actually passed a bill in 2009 setting it up. They just didn't have any money. So she wrote a letter to there's been some resistance from Republicans, mainly Republicans, conservatives, saying, you know, we voted against the health care insurance opt-out, right, mandatory insurance provision last November. Why we're concerned with these there may be federal strings. The governor said she looked at it. There's no federal strings attached. She wrote to each of the legislators a couple weeks ago. Right. And then Monday appeared in their caucuses, the Senate and House Republican caucus, and talked about a number of issues, including these exchanges. Right. During Senator Bingman's availability, he just offered the fact that, by the way, that health exchange bill, which hadn't been heard by a committee yet, right, just won't be heard by the Senate at all. Right. So it's kind of unusual in the sense that at least you throw it out to a committee, maybe throw an amendment or two to it. Right. Especially if you're going to kill something of the same party's governor, you think you would call the governor. And it's authored by the Speaker. Right. The Speaker didn't know about it either. So the governor apparently had not talked to him when we talked to her a couple hours later, late in the afternoon. So every Monday she has a breakfast with the Speaker and President Pro Tem. She says, hey, we'll meet Monday and try to get this figured out. But Senator Bingman said basically, we don't want this federal money. We don't trust it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds because, it's an all GOP leadership right now, and the theory was, well, things could go cooking right along, especially things that the governor wants, and this was a curveball indeed on opening day of the baseball season.
Exactly. And the governor's saying, if we get this federal money, the state of Oklahoma gets this federal money, then they can develop their own plan.
We can set up our own plan, whereas if the government has to come in, right, then you're beholden to whatever they do.
And they have until the end of 2012 to develop this plan. If the states don't develop it, there are like 7 or 8 states that got this federal grant money. Right. Then the federal government will come in 2013, and the governor says that's when, that's going to be what she calls Obamacare taking over, right, how insurance is available to Oklahomans.
Well, be interesting to see how this all winds up. Mike, we appreciate your time this week. Tons of stuff every day in the paper by Mike McNutt about what's going on at the Capitol. We encourage you to read that every day in the Oklahoman or on NewsOK.